Okay, our next problem is a little bit more challenging because we're given a map. However, we're not given a distance on the map. All we are given is this scale. So we know that a driver is traveling at a constant speed on Interstate 90 outside of Chicago. She traveled from point A to point B in 8 minutes. We need to know if she obeyed the speed limit of 55 miles per hour. First thing I want to do is figure out how long this actual distance is. Again, it's not written on there, but I'm given this scale. So I know that this scale down here represents 2 miles. So what I'm going to do as best I can is try to take this scale and overlay it on top of my map here so I can estimate that distance. So what I'm going to do is write small increments, and I'm going to, as best I can, estimate that length, right? So if that's 2 miles, I'm going to assume that my line here I drew was 2 miles, and then I'm going to keep doing that to see how many I can fit on my map. So now I'm at 2 miles, 4 miles, 6, 8. Okay, so I fit 4 whole scales, and I have this little piece left over. Okay, so it looks like it's about a quarter of this length, right? A half would be here. I look a little bit bigger than that. So I look like I'm about half of the half. Okay, so this looks like it might be about a half mile. Again, if you're estimating this on your own, it's perfectly fine if you were a little bit off. If you estimated this to be a mile, 2 miles, it's all an estimation. So what I'm going to do now is count up how many miles I have. 2, 4, 6, 8.5. So my total distance is about 8.5 miles. I need to figure out if she obeyed the speed limit of 55 miles in 1 hour. So I need to know what her speed is. Okay, but all I know right now is that she went 8.5 miles in 8 minutes. My first hiccup here is coming because my speed is in 8 minutes. I need to convert that to hours. So I'm going to do some side work over here. I want to know 8 minutes is how many hours. Okay, because if we're talking about speed, we're always talking about hours. I'm not given any other information. However, if we think about it, we know how many minutes are in 1 hour, so we can fill that in. We know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So now I can find my scale factor there to use it for my 8 minutes. So I know I can divide 60 by 60, and it's going to take me down to 1. So I'm going to do the same thing here and divide 8 by 60, and that's going to give me how many hours it took. So 8 divided by 60 gives us 0.13 repeating. So that's how many hours we went. And again, I'm looking for how many miles we can go in 1 hour. Okay. Right now, I know that my driver went 8.5 miles in 0.13 repeating hours. Again, this is what I'm looking to get. I need to convert this down to see if her speed matches the speed limit. My speed limit here is in blue. Everything in green is what my driver is actually doing. So I need to figure out, how many miles my driver is going in 1 hour. So again, I found out what her speed was. However, her speed was in minutes. So I went ahead and converted that down to hours. I determined that she went 8.5 miles in 0.13 hours. So now I'm going to go ahead and find my scale factor there. So if I need to find my scale factor, if I'm looking for miles, I'm going to draw my arrow to miles. The arrow helps me figure out what to divide. So I'm going to take 8.5 divided by 0.13. Same thing we were doing with the scale factor work. End of our arrow divided by the start of our arrow. So if we go ahead and type this into our calculator, it's going to tell us our scale factor. Okay, and we get 63.75. So that's my scale factor. So then that tells me that I can take any hour and multiply it by 63.75, and it's going to give me my miles. So if I do that here and do 1 times 63.75, That's going to give me 63.7. I'm just going to round it off. Okay. So if my driver is going 63, let's round to 64. If she's going 64 miles per hour, is she following that speed limit? No. The driver is moving faster. Okay. Again, everything in green here is the information about my driver. I converted the minutes to hours. I figured out her speed by finding that scale factor, and then I compared it to the speed that they gave me in the problem.